Hey everybody, welcome to Doc's Autos. Today we are doing a basic DIY maintenance on our 2015 BMW X5. Nothing big, simple task of changing the front brakes and replacing the wear sensor. So let's just get right into it. Alrighty, we are looking at the front passenger side. I'm going to assume you have jacked up the vehicle, taken off the lug nuts, 17 mil for me. And I'm guessing this process is going to be pretty similar for most BMWs. I actually have not done brakes on... No, I did them on the first X3 I had. Not the red one, not the second one. But the front rotors here, a little rusty, but they are good. They don't have any shimmy in the wheels or anything like that. There's no ridges here. From wear, so I'm not going to be replacing those today. The rear rotors, those will get replaced sometime when they're due, along with the rear pads. But for now, we're just doing the pads in the front. The wear indicator came out about 400 miles ago, and time to get parts ordered, delivered, and find a time to do it. It was about 400 miles. Parts were... Oh, well, we'll go over that in a minute here. I forget off the top of my head, but definitely cheaper than going to a dealer or an indie shop if you've got a couple of tools and hopefully an hour or so of time. Really the only thing different from doing this on American cars I've found is I've got the eTorx sockets versus your 10 or 13 mil on Fords or whatever. So we're just go ahead and take this whole assembly off. And what I want to do first is actually try and get a little space between the brake pads and pistons and the rotor to go ahead and get just a little bit of play so I can work it off a little easier. Let me get something. I'm just going to take a very small pry bar, throw it in the caliper itself and try and push against the pad itself, not the caliper, but just to get a little bit of room on here. It really took no effort at all. There is this plate here, this comes off. And if yours is worn or weak, you should replace that as well. I got the hardware kit, so I am. All right, so I went a whole lot easier on it than I probably needed to. If you were going to try and replace it, or keep it, sorry, if you're going to try and keep it, you don't want to try and not bend it up, but I did that, and we're just going to toss it anyways. So on the driver's side, I'll be a little more aggressive on it, I guess. Now, again, like I said, I've got the eTorx 18 on the back of here, just a couple of bolts to knock out. Of course, maybe a breaker bar would be helpful. Or I just put some muscle into it. I try and avoid impacts on this stuff just because if something is stuck, I'd hate to have one of these bolt heads to shear off, because then you're really going to have a bad time. I'm just not into impaling my hands into the suspension here, so that's why I'm being just a little careful. If I had a lift, I could go up, I could get under it. Much easier, but I don't. So here we are working in the garage. Back to our socket and driver. Alrighty, it comes loose. I'm just going to flip it over, set it up on top. You can see our pads are definitely worn. This one should come right off. I mean, there's still some meat on it, you can see, but the wear indicator on the driver's side has worn down, and I'll show you that in a bit here. But, you know, granted there's still some life, but I'm sure they figure you were going to wait, you know, 2, 3, 4 months before you actually go get this done. And pop this off. Not too bad here either. Looks good. I mean, there's still some meat there, but it's off. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my piston compressor quick. You can actually use, you know, a clamp or something to pinch it back in here. But I found I picked up, let me show you. I picked up this Lang tool a couple of years ago off of somebody else's suggestion. I don't even remember where. I saw it. I think I was working on the wife's Outback and found it. So basically it just goes in like a ratchet and it expands. So let's set it in here. Open her up. We slowly push the piston back. There we go. Can release that. There we go. Now if you want to check and make sure your guide pins are loose. No one's binding up, that's good. If you want to, you could take them out, clean them up, put some more grease in there. But nothing to it. Kind of a modified version of what I found on, you know, like the Ford pickup and whatnot, where you've got your caliper bracket that's held to the turnbuckle here, the knuckle, whatever you want to call it, and then the caliper mounts to that. Well, this bolts right to the knuckle, and the caliper slides on that, so very similar, just a little bit different, and at least for me, this works because nothing's stuck. I'm going to go ahead and clean these up quick, throw a little bit of grease on them just because I can, and we'll come back, and somewhere around here I have my brake hardware, so let me find that too. Alrighty, well I went ahead and cleaned up those pins, threw a little bit of brake grease on them, high temp brake grease, and as a precaution, since we are up here in Minnesota, winter roads, salt and whatnot, I did clean off where the brakes ride. I just took a wire brush, cleaned off some of the snarbus here, and put a dab of brake grease on there, just a little bit of extra help. Make sure things keep moving up here in our salty, wintry roads. Now, put our bracket back on here the correct direction. There we go. And even cleaning that, a little fresh grease, those pins ride much easier, so that's excellent. Now, behind me, if I have more of these guys here, hey, neat. I don't think I need them though. Brake hardware kit. I got this off of Rock Auto along with the brakes themselves. Splurged and got some Brembo brakes. It's a name, hey, they're kind of flashy red. But the price was definitely right. And I guess I can kind of feel like a supercar, right? Now these guys definitely have a lot more meat on them. Hey, they're even the right part, even better. So, the old pads, new pads, definitely more meat by far. I do notice that the wear on this one is actually pretty even too, even better. The big thing, if you are looking for brakes, there are different part numbers for brakes, depending on if you've got an M Sport, regular non-M package, which is this vehicle. And just make sure you buy the right stuff so you're not disappointed when it shows up. We'll go ahead and slide this thing back in. These guys, little ears need to be set inside the piston. That'll be your fun challenge of the afternoon. Take my little pry bar, push the tab in. And in it goes. Getting it lined up on the other hand is, there we go, not too bad either. Now we have our other side. And we do have a thing of brake grease that comes with it. And that should be applied on the back side of this other pad. And any of the other pins, like I already put the brake grease on the slide pins. But you can use this stuff too. Some kits may come with it, some may not. Where's the other one? There it is. Like I say, this is where it wants some of that brake grease to be applied, so I'm going to throw on just a little bit. I don't need a ton. Don't need to attract more dirt. We'll go ahead and set it kind of where these areas are. And just let it do what it may. I'll put a little more up here just because we can, right? Can never have too much lube. Am I right? All right, we'll slide him in here. Well, hopefully I open that up enough. Let's see. Should just go ahead and set it right back on the way it came out. And if I opened up my caliper enough, it'll slide right back on. Nope. Let's go ahead and close this guy back up. Of course it won't fit. Anyways, let me go ahead and get this open back up and we'll slide it back on the caliper. Now we should slide it right back over the rotor. Just like that. I'm going to take a little bit of blue thread lock. Seeing as I'll hopefully be the next guy touching it. I don't want to use red, that's just sort of a jerk move. Anyways, a little dab of blue. I don't need a ton. Alrighty, we've got that on. Now we're going to go ahead and torque these down. Make sure you do that. And should be 110 pounds. There's our 110. Now I gotta take my extension off of here now. I don't have a lot of room in here. Let's see if I can go below. Click. click. Now we have our new bag of hardware. Like I say, these things here, little guides for the pins, were in great shape. Not going to replace those, but I'll throw them in the box of parts just because. Well, these things go back on hopefully a little easier than they came off. We've got, got these two little ears here. Those go in these holes down here. Now you can't see that. This is where a lift would come in handy, so I could raise this up because I got to bend over. Anyways, these little ears go in these holes here. Try this again. Give it a little whack. All right. All right, everybody's where they belong. I'm going to go ahead and put my tire back on this side, and I'll go over on the driver's side, and I will show you the replacement of that wear sensor. Alrighty, we've made our way over to the driver's side. I guess it's a little more spooky with the lighting. Yeah, sorry, lighting isn't as good on this side of the garage. But what I wanted to show you quickly was the wear sensor that gets replaced, and this one here is on the driver's side. Anyways, on the bleeder valve, there's the little rubber cap and fitting. I'll show you on the new one here in just a minute. That's tucked into, and then if you follow it around, there's a metal bracket that it fits into here. And then it snakes down under, around another bracket, and then up into a plastic box. Let me move you here one second. Oh, that thing's heavy. Stay. There you go. Maybe you can see this better here. Back here is a box, and this opens up. There's a couple of tabs. One here, one here. A little bit of crud in mine apparently. You've got one as a connector for your ABS sensor, and one here is for your wear indicator. That simply just unclips, removes, you thread in the new one, and you're done. Let me take this apart and we'll go through putting the new piece in. Alrighty, now that we got that sensor out, well, bad lighting, sorry. I was pointing at the incorrect one. I was pointing at the ABS sensor earlier. At least in my car, the wear sensor is the first, the more forward of the two sensors or connections in that little plastic box. So just make sure you trace around the wires and get to the right one. But the big part I want to show you was, here is that wear sensor on the pad itself. And there's not a whole lot left there you can see. Basically, doesn't matter, but you can give it a yank out. You don't save these, you don't reuse them. But if you want to see what it looked like, I'm sure you give it a tug and pull it out. Or it just stays in there and it's stuck now forever, which is fine. So we've got a new one. We've got a new one here. From FCP Euro, yeah. And nope, this actually came from Rock Auto, one of the two. Well, either way. It is a OE quality part, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab our new pad. Let's see, this is our, yep. Let's make sure we grab our inner one, and the sensor should just tuck right into this groove here, you can see. And it does have a directional indicator on it, so I'm just going to make sure I put it in the right direction. Should be this, well, you can't see it because I'm in focus. Anyways, it's kind of lopsided. The wider, thicker end goes into the pad itself side. So that's where we just look where things are and slide it in. It goes in and does not come back out. So when that little nub wears down, the light turns on your dashboard and nags you every time you get in your car, including going in reverse, trying to back out of parking spots, not hit the garage. That's kind of annoying. But it is less annoying than that squeaky sound other cars have when you are getting low on your brake pads. Anyways, I wanted to show you how that went in, where it went in, and depending on your vehicle, you may have it on both sides, you may have it on just the driver's side. This car just got it on the driver's side, but whatever. Anyways, that's in. I'm gonna go ahead and get this side put back together. We'll come back and wrap it up. Alrighty, the last thing we've got to do is reset the brake system. So let's give that a shot here. We've got our message here on the dash. On our iDrive system, it says, brake system, that is annoying. Now apparently you're supposed to be able to just hit the button down here for a few seconds. There we go. Now we hold it again for a few seconds. Let go of it and then press it again to hit that reset process. And you can see there it is resetting the system. And there we go, 60,000 miles till our next check. Everything is good. Now if you wanted to, if you've got something like Carly, you can reset it with that as well. If you've got another scanner, an Autel, or one of the other more powerful scanners versus your basic OBD2 scanner, you should be able to reset it there as well. This was just a quick thing that every vehicle, you can use it on every vehicle. You don't need anything extra special, any other programmers or coders or Bluetooth dongles. It's just built into the vehicle for your system maintenance. So there we go. Alrighty, that was not that bad of a project. I did forget to put the brake hardware on that metal plate on the driver's side, so I went back and redid that. Otherwise, I'm probably into this project hour and a half. Not too bad at all. And I'm sure if you were to take it down to the dealer or the indie shop, it'd be a couple $100s before you're out the door there, and a couple hours of your time to go, wait, borrow a car, whatever the case may be. Afternoon project in the garage, just because it's a German BMW, don't be afraid of it. Only tool you might need that you don't have probably, unless of course you work on your own BMWs, in which case why are you watching this video, would be that external eTorx 18, take off those caliper brackets, and maybe if you wanted to have that Lang caliper or piston compression tool instead of a C-clamp or something like that. So nothing big, nothing special to be afraid of. And parts for me, I'll put the link below from FCP, Euro, and Rock Auto. About 100, 125, I think. I'll double check, but again, links will be below. And actually, we're coming up about 1 year since I got this vehicle at auction, and when I brought it home, this front of the car was sort of not there. Here's a playlist up here somewhere of the rebuild process for the X5, and if you like other general DIY maintenance, we've got the Outback, we've got our Ford pickup, we've got a couple of full restorations going on too. So if you're into car stuff, hit that subscribe button below, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever we put out new content. And again, simple afternoon project. And for me, it's time to go out and do chores, feed the horses and shop cat. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.